time and time again on this channel is your mindset is very important. Again, I am trying to get people to think about being wealth builders instead of being doomers. You do not need permission to do nothing. You need permission to do something. We've got the one and only Coach Carson back, who just put out a video talking about this mindset is more valuable than $1 million. I don't know about you, but I want to know what that mindset is. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, Michael. Yeah, this is actually an idea I read in a book. It was a parenting book of all things. It's a book called Parenting Champions by a guy named Lanny Basham. He was a gold medalist in rifle shooting. He also is like a mental coach for sports athletes, like Olympic athletes. And he asked this question in the book that just like struck me. He said, as a parent, and this applies to everybody if you're not a parent, that as a parent, when you're looking at your kid's life, would you rather them get the A on the test, or would you rather them become the kind of student who gets an A on the test? And for me as a parent, I'm like, well, obviously I want them to become the kind of person who can learn the information to get an A, because they could cheat. They could just like copy the answers from their neighbor. They could, do
That's how I
shortcuts.
got through school. Let's just be clear.
Yeah. I doubt the guy who puts in the work. I seriously doubt that. But so it made me think about real estate investing and making $1 million. Like, think about it this way. There's 3 different ways I could, at least you could make $1 million. You could win the lottery and win $1 million. You could go cheat and steal and get $1 million. Or you could own a business or small real estate investing business and buy properties and make $1 million. In all 3 cases, you'd have the same amount of cash in the bank in all 3 times. But the first one who won the lottery, they just got lucky. They didn't have to change it all. The person who cheated or became a criminal, they became a criminal to make $1 million. The third person who built $1 million, putting in the work and buying the properties, they became a smarter investor. They had more of a network. If you had to choose which one of those 3 people could actually repeat this again, they lost everything, took their $1 million away. Which one could do it again? That's the third person, the person who actually built. And so I would rather have, and the concept in this book was, when you set goals, you think about achievement, but really it's about, for your kids, but also for us as real estate investors, is who am I going to become in order to achieve this goal? And if you think about it that way, it's really the root of what we're trying to accomplish.
No, I think there's so much in that. And again, for me, this is about building a community of wealth builders. I've gotten really comfortable with that. Again, if you do the work, buy box, discipline, live below your means, invest 10 years, all of that, you're going to build wealth. But the thing for me is it does all start with the mind. And for me, the first seed has to be belief. I think there's so much noise out there. And maybe there's even just human biology that just wants to focus on the negativity. You want to run from that fear, right? Back when we were on the Serengeti, we didn't want to get eaten by lions or dinosaurs or whatever the heck it is.
That was a smart instinct, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be bad. That would suck. Yeah. But you got to believe it's possible. Because if you don't believe it's possible to be wealthy for whatever reason, you've already lost. And that's one of the reasons I love this show, because I have 12 millionaires that come back each and every week that all started from different positions. One of them's a 9th grade dropout. One of them's a single dad with 3 kids with a negative net worth of 250 grand. There's a Section 8 mom, right? There's all kinds of ways to do this thing. So you stop believing the nonsense that it's not possible. Change your mindset. And if you don't change your mindset, you've already lost, in my opinion.
100%. I just finished a biography last night of Sam Walton, who started Walmart.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I love reading biographies, and also the millionaires you bring on your show, is essentially like you're getting pieces of people's biography every single week. Yes. But he said at the end of the book, he said, yeah, I don't know that I can give you any definition of success or anything you can replicate, but all I can tell you is that I had a belief and a passion for retail. Like he was just loved being a storekeeper. And he said it was infectious. Like everyone around him caught his belief. It was like a virus, a positive virus, And I think it's the same way. I think when you have negative belief, it's going to be self-fulfilling. Like the people around you are going to not have any confidence. You're not going to have confidence. It's just going to like spread negatively. And the opposite's true too, though. Like if you can, I'm not saying be willy-nilly, like believe things that aren't true. Like you have to put in the work to put the scaffolding under. And that's really what this whole concept's about. I would rather become the kind of person who has put in the work to have the character, the
Mhm.
skills, the relationships. Like you can't, there's no shortcuts. Like that's the main point. Like you have to build up this base. And anybody who's become a millionaire, quote, overnight, either they cheated and like did it, or they got lucky, or they are not telling you the truth. They spent 10 years building up their skills and their relationships, and then overnight they started this new business that made $1 million.
Mm.
Like there is no shortcut. There never is. And so as long if you just kind of get over that from the beginning and say, I just have to put in the work. And the cool thing about watching your show and hopefully listening to my podcast and reading our books is that that's the skill set. Like
That's the
you
message.
that's
Yes.
the message. You just do. You're not gonna be able to replicate Mike's story or my story because we all have different paths, but the skills are there. It's like a basketball coach saying, you got to learn how to dribble, you got to learn how to shoot, you got to have
Yeah.
conditioning. Those are the skills you got to have as a real estate investor, and you just got to put in the work to become better to make those things
Yeah.
happen.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that was the mission behind my second book, 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires. Was like, yeah, okay, one rental at a time is my story, but it's a single story. The
Right.
reason I wrote that second book is because I wanted to show people 15 different ways to do it. Just
Hmm.
because sometimes you just got to, people just have to see themselves. It's not a book that you're going to read cover to cover a lot, but hopefully you read it once and you go, hey, I love chapter 6 and chapter 9 because that's my story. Right.
Yep.
And then you go back and I wanted to put something out in the universe that people can go back to and get belief, because when I was struggling in my first 5 years, I went to Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Investor book, the blue and white one.
Yeah.
In the very back of
Love
the
it.
book, he put in like 15 stories, but they were only a page and a half.
Hmm.
So it was like 30 pages. But I read those 30 pages almost nightly for like 3 years
Yep.
because I just had to know when I was stuck in the suck, I just had to know that somebody else got through the suck. And Gary Keller, that one book, the blue and white book, saved me because sometimes you just need to believe.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, we human beings are storytelling creatures, and we whether we think we're a loner or not, like we feed off of the energy and the example and the belief of other people. And so I think there's multiple messages there. It's like do exactly what you said, like read Mike's book over and over again and get belief from those little mini biographies within his book, and then also be the kind of person who brings other people up. Like that's been one of the greatest joys of my life, is being like, to me, like being a teacher and a coach, and what we do
Mhm.
is like the privilege of a lifetime, because it's like kind of lighting a candle for other people. Like
Yeah.
there's this little seed of belief. They're like, okay, this could work. I could do this. Somebody I just heard on Mike's show, or somebody I heard on Chad's podcasts, they were
Yeah.
very similar to me and they did it. Like, what a cool thing that we get to then like pass it on, and we have as many people as we can also doing well and helping each other. That's a pretty cool ripple effect.
Well, the other thing I've taken from this conversation is you read a lot. Do you have a goal of
Yeah.
how many books to read, or you just read 10 pages a day, or how do you consume all
Mm.
of these books? What is that discipline?
I don't set goals around it, because then I think it would take the fun out of it for me.
Ah,
So I just
fair
I
enough.
I do write them down. I do write the books down. 2 years ago, I started trying to deliberately read more biographies, just because, yeah, I read a lot of nonfiction too. Like when I'm learning something, it's almost like on demand learning. So like, all right,
Mm,
I'm creating a sales page for something. Who can I read? Who's done this? Who can I listen to a podcast? So I do a lot of that in a specific learning in the specific moment. But then my background reading is biographies. Number one, and I just have it by my bed. If you, I need to send you a picture sometime. Beside my bed is this like ridiculous pile of like what 30 books that I read at one time. And
that's
and I
awesome.
I'll have 3 or 4 that I'm reading at a time. I'll pick them up for different reasons. One's like a, business biography. Others are just more, I like historical people, I think are really interesting, like
Mhm.
leaders. I read one, Eleanor Roosevelt was reading, what started that one earlier this year. Ben Franklin's biography I read last year.
Did you ever read
Um,
Sam Zell's biography? Just curious.
no, that's been on my
Oh,
kind
you
of
got to
radar.
get that
So,
one. Sam
all right.
Zell's book was amazing. I think it's called "Am I Being Too Subtle?" If
Yeah,
memory serves.
that
But
sounds
the
good.
reason I loved his book was because he talked a lot about the '80s and the banking crisis,
Mm,
um, and there's a lot of similarities between what I think we're going through now. So I
yeah.
think that's a timely book, and obviously, rest in
Yeah.
peace, I put him on my Mount Rushmore of top 4 real estate investors of all time,
Mm.
not only because of what he built, but also because he sold at the top, right? He sold his portfolio to Blackstone at the top. It's like, dude, baller
Wow.
move.
Yep. Zeckendorf's another good real estate biography that's historical. Have you read that one?
Remember the title or no?
Zeckendorf is the name of
Okay.
it. So
Zeckendorf. Okay.
Zeckendorf is a story of a guy who started in the Great Depression and went all the way up into the 50s or 60s and basically
Oh,
built a lot of New York
I will
City.
check it
And
out. Okay.
it's just a deal by deal, like in the weeds. But then it's also
I
a
love it.
cautionary tale about ambition. And so, like if you're a small, mighty, or a one rental at a time investor, I think you'll be inspired by it. But you also be like, all right, do I need to have debt? Just
Do
continue
I need to
rolling
have
over
that
debt
much?
after debt after debt after debt after debt until it just like it's like people who climb mountains. Like, cool, you climb Mount Everest, that's awesome. But like, why? Like,
Yeah.
it's like some
That's
point,
deadly at some point.
yes,
Yeah.
you're gonna die at some point. And I'm not gonna spoil the end of the story. But anyway,
No,
it's a
I will order
brilliant
that
book.
today.
It's really
Awesome,
good.
awesome. Well, Chad, you're doing a lot of amazing stuff on your podcast, your newsletter. So many ways to follow you. Give us your closing thoughts and where can they find you?
I would just say keep inspiring each other and also listening to other people who inspire you. I think this mindset talk we had today, you know, sometimes we get caught in I love the tactics. I love the X's and O's. Like that's super important. But the foundation of all that is the way you described it. It's the belief you have that you can do this, and don't make sure to nourish that part of your journey as well. And I try to have a drop that into my podcast every, once or twice a month. I have just stories of people who have come from nothing and they bought 6 properties or 5
Yeah,
properties or 10 properties. So that's a regular thing I do on my show. So if you want to check that out, my YouTube channel, you can just type in Coach Carson. You'll find it on YouTube, or you can listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm out there.
awesome. Thanks, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, Michael.